Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock Pacific. Every Tuesday, the Mortgage Coach community connects for the industry's best sales meeting. My name is Dave Savage. I am absolutely dedicated to both your personal and professional success. Obviously, a lot of personal success is predicated to how successful you are in business. And here at Mortgage Coach, we're all about being the best mortgage professionals we can be. Driven by our values of wow, simplicity, excellence. It's all about education, helping people with total cost decisions so they can make confident decisions. Whether it's a realtor or buyer who's buying a home, we want to bring confidence to every decision they make. I'm excited to push, it's not an announcement, but to really push this compliance event that I'm doing with Mitch Kiter on September 23rd. It's 11 o'clock Pacific, so a little different time. But loan officers, you should be here because compliance matters to you. If you care about the company that you work for, you want to make sure you're a great player on the team. And you also want to push your executive team into this because it's going to create a lot of value for what we evangelize here at Mortgage Coach, making lenders more compliant, but also doing that in a way that's a competitive sales advantage. So don't miss, sign up for that. Something that I'm, particularly passionate about, and it's just come up. There's been a couple blog posts, a few conversations I've had with people. But I just believe that loan officers should deliver the same quality rate quote, regardless of whether it's a rate shopper, high-income rate shopper, or a low-income person who's just happy to get a loan. They both should get the same awesome experience. And taking that one step further, I think a lot of loan officers give better service to the rate shopper who's grinding it and demanding the service than they do to their family members or their friends. And I just challenge the industry, and I challenge everybody on this call, let's give the great service to both. Also, for that compliance webinar that's coming up, please help us get the word out, share it, like it, share this within your organization. Let's create this movement around being great mortgage professionals delivering compliant advice. So I am in Palm Springs today. I got here yesterday. I had just an amazing first night with two amazing loan officers. One of them closed 30 loans last month, Cody, with Cornerstone Mortgage, a great Mortgage Coach partner, and Wally actually was the number one production. He closed 31 units in the Dallas market, did a little over $9 million in production, and so two just mega producers, 1%ers at Mastery. So if you're coming to Mastery, I want to see you. Make sure you come up and say hi to me. Comment on our Facebook page and let me know you're coming. Look forward to seeing everybody here in the next few hours, actually. So today's focus is all about being a community leader, and really to the point, we've got a guy he's a local celebrity in San Diego. I mean, that might be, I don't know, Craig. I know it's not overstepping it because I've been with you at a bar where someone is like, "Oh, you're Craig Selling?" They know you. So you've gone from being, very super successful loan officer to being a community leader, to being a modern media leader in the mortgage industry in San Diego. So welcome to the call, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a pretty humbling statement. I don't know if I would use the word celebrity, but we've certainly increased our influence, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, come on. Celebrity means a lot of people know you, like you, and trust you.
Yeah.
And when you compare yourself to an average loan officer, you are a celebrity loan officer. Now, when we compare you to Brad Pitt, okay, you're not at that level yet.
God, it's all relative.
Yeah, so when we compare you to other loan officers on this call, you are a celebrity loan officer, brother.
I just want to know what I'm like when I'm compared to guys like Jeremy Forcier.
Yeah, hey, he's up there. He's up there too. But I mean, think about it. I mean, how many realtors are coming to your big annual event?
We're right now, it's funny that you ask, I just looked, we're at 985 RSVPs. We got about a month out, so we'll probably, if things work out as expected, have 2,400 RSVPs.
I mean, come on. I mean, you're going to have over 1,000 realtors in one room. You invited them. It's your venue. Who else in the country is getting 1,000+ realtors into an event?
Yeah, it's a really cool experience to be a part of it because it's very organic. It's very grassroots. It's not a bunch of money that's been invested into cold calling people. I mean, it really is getting the word out through different vendors, title reps, people on our mortgage team, other mortgage professionals in the industry, and just word of mouth and encouraging people to invite others. And we did this event last year, and it turned out really, really well. So I think the success of last year's event is really fueling this year as well.
Good. Well, I say that's, on par with the biggest events. I mean, even full mortgage companies, fly in, top executives to speak, and to get anything north of 500 realtors is pretty unprecedented. So you've definitely got a lot to unpack and share there. I do want to make sure we don't just, yes, we want to give everybody the recipe for the mega event, but we also want folks to hey, man, if you want to do an open house, if you want to have a smaller event, let's make sure that when we're unpacking We Are Magic, we're doing it in a way that helps everybody blow it up small and big.
Absolutely. I mean, a lunch and learn, a happy hour, those things can be as successful for a loan officer as an event with 2,000 people at it, because you can go deeper and develop the relationship. It's a relationship business. So it's just one of the many ways to influence the market, and if you're a loan officer, make it benefit your business.
Right on. And then the other thing we want to talk about is, you've had TV shows, you've got radio shows, you've done one show per week, you've done one show per day. I want to unpack how you are building your platform with media. So we want to unpack that, both big and small. So again, in your case, you've really made a strategic choice where you're not originating today. You're a biz dev guy. You're making the phone ring. You're creating strategic alliances through your platform. So you've gone really big, but let's blow that up, and then let's also bring it down something really small. Like, I'm a loan officer and I just want to get a press release out. Craig, where do I start in building a profile in my local market? Go with that?
Yep.
All right.
Well, I'm still a mortgage guy at heart, right? That's where I came from. I'm still very involved in the space. A lot of people that are going to be at the event are my friends and peers of the mortgage industry. So these calls are really fun for me, Dave, because it's still very much a passion of mine. It's funny, I'm looking at the post you had, the imaging you had earlier about rate shopping. I've been using Mortgage Coach for a decade, and it was the same thing then. It was rate shopping. How do you add value? How do you create relationships? I mean, all of these things are timeless activities. So the message today is very similar to what it was 10 years ago when I was closing 30 to 40 deals a month. And so I look forward to the call here.
Well, I'm looking forward to breaking down how to do big events, how to build a platform. And as always, you guys come to this call for me to, if you're only, providing Mortgage Coach to 1 out of 10 of your clients, I'm here to convince you to start doing it to 100%. If you're doing 50%, let's take it to another level. So Craig, thanks for taking the time to articulate your Mortgage Coach why, because I have found so often that the Mortgage Coach leaders that get the most success on our team and deliver the most value to the marketplace are the ones that really have a compelling why. So it's pretty obvious. I don't want to read this out loud, and I'm not going to ask you to read it out loud. Hopefully everybody's already read it. But you've got a pretty intelligent and a pretty well thought out why you're on this call, and why you use Mortgage Coach as an operator, and now why you push the team and the people that support you to use it. Anything you want to add to that aside from reading? And again, no need to read this out loud.
Sure. No, I mean, and the message here, I think, is it's just very authentic. You asked me, just being open and honest with the audience here, what is my why behind the Mortgage Coach? And I sent this to you, and it didn't take me a long time to put together, because I thought, from my heart, what is the reason behind it? Why did I always leverage Mortgage Coach? Why do we require it of the people that I coach, and why do we encourage it through the Real Estate Radio Network and a lot of the other things that we do? I mean, as I was saying, some of the things that you have to do as a mortgage originator, it's timeless, right? I mean, when we're talking about rate shopping and explaining rate and beating out your competition and earning relationships, these are things that it doesn't matter if the market's up, down, left, or right. You always need to do those things. But in today's world, there are some unique differentiators from today's marketplace versus what we saw 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I think today you have a consumer that moves much more quickly. They are much more skeptical, because I think that everybody either went through the market crash or knows somebody who directly was affected by it. And we're just the truth is, as a country, I think we just have ADD. so people are moving faster. They don't have as much time to look at information, and their attention spans are shorter. Now you look at what it's become to be a mortgage professional in today's marketplace. I mean, there's a tremendous gap. It's much more difficult. You have to be a processor. You have to understand underwriting. You have to be meeting new relationships. You have to be fortifying existing relationships. You got to meet with clients. You got to explain to them how interest rates work and develop loan options, and all while your compensation has been cut, right? So you have to do way more for way less, and you need way more support. So there's a big gap today between what the consumer is and what they expect versus what I think is even physically possible for the originator to develop. And what I've always seen as mortgage coach, and now versus ever before, is it really is a bridge to that gap. It gives that consumer information. It allows the originator to work quickly. It allows them to provide a wow experience in a short period of time. It speaks to the short attention span of the consumer because you can inject the videos into it. It's very transparent. The numbers are comprehensive. They're easy to understand. So I think now more than ever there's that gap between consumer and the originator, and I don't know really anything that fills that gap better than Mortgage Coach, and that's really what I tried to articulate in that point there, Dave.
Yeah. So let's go through some trends in the space. I have been covering these topics on a lot of calls, but you know how it is as a teacher. You need to repeat yourself, and you need to say it in different ways from different folks. But one of the things that's really different is that so many shoppers now are using mobile. I mean, Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, Realtor.com. I mean, they have put the MLS in everybody's back pocket. And not only did they put the MLS in everybody's back pocket, but they made it easy to, get a rate quote. So, I mean, with 3 clicks of the button, you could, you don't even have to apply for a loan. You could verify rates, so that's a trend. And I think we need to recognize that. The other trend is while, millennials, we all know that, the millennial market over the next 5 years is big. It's massive today. And I guess I make the point because we are an ADD society. Millennials, not just an age group, it's anybody that is jonesing out on their mobile device. They may be 50 like myself, but I'm a millennial in terms of my behavior. And I'm not alone. I'm not the only guy that, is using Instagram, Facebook, text, and I'm communicating with colleagues and friends. And, on weekends, if I want to go look at houses, home shopping is entertainment. I mean, it's family entertainment now. So I guess this is kind of comes with my first question to you, Craig, before we get into the unpacking your events and all that. So let's kind of get through this. But we've got to sell to millennials. So we need to sell rent versus own. How much of this are you doing from your platform? Or are you approaching the market with this in mind on your radio show, on your TV show, or just when you're adding value to realtors? How does this tie into your platform?
Yeah, to speak to your point real quick, I was sitting down with a gal the other day, a friend of mine. She actually works within the real estate radio network, and she's looking to buy a house, and she's just kind of getting moving along, and she's telling me all the fears that her and her husband have, and I can't really comprehend why she has these fears. I mean, for what her income is and what she's paying in rent, to me it seems like a no-brainer. But sometimes it's easy to forget, what people are going through as a first-time home buyer. I mean, as a mortgage originator, you go through hundreds, maybe thousands of these types of transactions. You become almost numb to it. And I was listening to her talk about the fears that she has of buying a home, and I said, well, have you even got pre-approved for a mortgage? She's like, yeah, I went online to some website and I got pre-approved. I was like, the website? She goes, no, it was just quick and easy. I go, wow. I can't believe that you would, provide such personal information and, talk about your biggest debt, which ultimately can be a financial instrument, your mortgage, with just something that you clicked around online. And why did she do that? It's because it was easier for her, right? And so when you talk about millennials, this is how people are shopping these days, even for something as big as real estate and their mortgage. And so that might scare some people away, but I think it just creates more of an opportunity for someone who is a extreme professional to provide more insight and more hands-on information that people desperately need now more than ever. I mean, she's going to make a lot of mistakes if that's the route that she ultimately goes. On my radio show, every day we're at 6 p.m. on 1170 AM KCBQ. We talk about the market and where interest rates might be moving. We bring in professionals, whether it's realtors or mortgage guys or gals, onto the show. And, you know, one of the things that I think is really critical that we discuss on the show is understanding how these numbers really work. You know, if you think about, let's use her name, Raquel, being very fearful of buying a house, well, it's because she doesn't really comprehend what the numbers look like. She just thinks, okay, well, I'm paying $2,000 a month in rent. Now I'm going to be paying $2,500. What if my husband loses his job? What if I get sick? What if the world comes caving in? And so now more than ever, I think seeing things, visualizing things, the numbers, and really comprehending what it means to have a net payment being less than you're paying in rent, what it means when principal is being paid down and the tax benefits you're going to get, the equity that you're going to grow. And as I told her, if your husband loses his job, guess what? That's a problem whether you own a house or not. You should be very happy to know that you will own a home and you will probably gain quite a bit of equity, which you could maybe sell the home. You might be able to rent the home, or who knows, maybe you'll be able to make it work out. Or guess what? Maybe your husband may not even lose his job. So I think that there's a lot of fears in this marketplace. People are skeptical because of what happened years ago. And so when we talk about it on the air, yeah, we get into interest rates and numbers, but what we really encourage people to do is, hey, look, I can talk about it until I'm blue in the face. The most important thing that you can do as a consumer in today's market is truly see what these numbers look like, and not just, you know, going online and getting some cookie cutter response, but actually seeing a tailored custom plan that helps you comprehend the different strategies involved with buying a home, from the amount of money you put down to pain points versus not, to doing a 30-year fix versus a 20-year. I mean, all of these different decisions that you can make. You cannot get a cookie cutter response, even though that might be the easy thing to do in today's world. It's not the right way to develop the best strategy on your biggest investment. And so we really encourage, at least in the radio show itself, people to reach out and get more information and see a comprehensive plan. And of course, the loan officers that we're referring them to, these are edge users. They believe in video, and they're using it to its fullest extent. And it really helps us take the message from me talking on air to actually the visual and a comprehensive plan.
So guys, I want to make an action item for everybody. First of all, everybody on this call, you should know how to have a great millennial rent versus own conversation. You should be able to deliver that to them on their device, because to Craig's point, that's where they're doing life. So even if they come meet with you personally, have them pull out their app, walk them through a rent versus own. If you're doing a radio show, you're doing some type of live event, give everybody a link to a generic rent versus own as you train, teach, and inspire, and then say, hey, if you'd like me to customize that for you, let's take that offline. At open houses, if you are powering a real estate office who's doing an open house and it's a first-time buyer type property, they should have a rent versus own strategy for that property. And we're going to talk about how to create open house experiences, with mobile. Craig, I don't want to, but I want to make sure, as we're talking to someone who's building their platform, you want to build a platform. Let's face it, there's a lot of articles around how to connect with millennials. And if you want to get your articles, your stories, your videos picked up, being able to have that rent versus own conversation, realtors want it, need it, like it, and it's a tremendous opportunity for you. So hopefully that's an action item. So Craig, I don't want to spend a lot of time on video right now, because I think it will tie into a lot of the rest of the call. But something we've been talking about is this, this research that was done by Google and Maher. There was a lot of takeaways, but to me, a big takeaway was that buyers and sellers want video marketing. They like looking at properties with video, but only 15% of realtors are using video, and even a smaller percentage of mortgage professionals are using video. So, it's a massive opportunity. So, I have one quick question, and then I want to really start unpacking your event and bringing this into a more Craig sewing, top-down conversation. But first of all, do you validate that? Do you agree that only 15% of realtors are really video savvy, and it's a smaller percentage of loan officers? And do you agree that it's a massive opportunity?
Honestly, Dave, I've heard numbers even smaller on the realtor side from things that I heard last week from someone who I really trust was telling me that it's even less than 10%. So there's probably different studies or surveys are going to say different things, but I do know this, the majority do not. And given the way that the world is moving right now, it's more important than ever. So, I mean, it's just, to me, it's no brainer. And I know some really successful mortgage guys out there that they're not taking the time to do it, and they've been kind of bumping their head on the ceiling for quite some time. So again, it's not one of those things I encourage. It's one of those things we require for the people that I'm aligned with.
Beautiful. So we align on that. It's logical. If you hear things verbally, you retain 10%. If you see a picture, it's 65%. If you touch it, if it's a multi-sensory experience, I interviewed Carmine Gallo a few weeks ago. If you didn't listen to this call, I mean, it's required. I mean, Carmine, is not only a great leader. Keller Williams is going to school on this guy. So, well, guys, you got to do the same. So, Craig, let's break down some things. I want to break down, one, your radio show, and two, your event. So let's kind of go through a checklist for anybody that I'm assuming if you came to this call, you want to know where to get started. So, Craig, what do you tell mortgage professionals who either want to have a radio show, they want to get into media in their local market? What's the Craig Sewing checklist?
Well, I think the first thing you do is you get a better picture than that. So, Dave.
Hey man, I took this off of Google, brother.
Oh well, geez, man. You made a really good point earlier that I think it's important to repeat, that the things that I'm doing, whether it's radio, TV, or a big event, these things might sound a little overwhelming to accomplish. And trust me, I didn't accomplish them overnight. But there's things you can do today as a mortgage originator to get moving in this direction. Again, not necessarily those things, but you're right. Whether it's an open house or a lunch and learn or a happy hour or a one-on-one meeting where you just sit down and have breakfast with somebody, increasing your influence is incredibly important. It's not difficult to go online and buy leads. In April of 2009, I had funded 99 loans, and that was 100% refinance, 100% transactional type business. And what I made the commitment to doing with my media and everything that I did was to develop a relationship business. So people probably were very confused about that at first. If you're going on a radio show or running commercials or anything like that, isn't that going to attract more leads? Well, leads are always good, but we always leverage it to develop relationships. So you can chase the apple, which I consider the transaction, or you can chase the apple tree, which is where the source is, whether it's a financial advisor or a realtor or whatever it may be. So the most important thing you can do is be a center of influence. Right? So you got to find ways to get in front of multiple people that can channel business to you, not just chase one deal at a time. So I'm able to do that with my radio show. It's a great opportunity to meet people at the marketplace. It's grown to where it does create a consumer direct response. But as somebody who's just out there trying to increase their loan volume, which is it's not an easy thing to do, but can pay you very well if you do it right. I just encourage you to find ways to be a center of influence in your marketplace and make commitments to doing that. Set dates. It doesn't have to be expensive to do these types of things. Happy hours, lunch and learns, and these things can cost you a few $100, but invite people to them. Create an intriguing marketing piece. Get people there, and that way when you're talking about different strategies and you're showing some of these incredible visuals or graphs or analyses, you have a group of people that can see it, be attracted to it, and respond to, and ultimately, hopefully, refer you business. So as much as I can sit here and talk about, me and the radio show and TV, I know that that's not something anybody's going to go accomplish overnight. If you have questions about getting into media, by all means, feel free to email me, and I can give you plenty of advice on that. Heck, we started the Real Estate Radio Network. That's a turnkey solution to doing it as well. But in the very least, start to think, how can I influence more people at once? How can I get in front of more people? How can I be a center of influence? And that's what took me from that loan officer in April of 2009 who funded 99 loans that were 100% refinance, 100% marketing dollars, into a purchase model business, which we did a 180. We almost did it overnight. It was simply by just focusing on being a center of influence. I mean, today I'll have a radio show that has thousands of people. I do my TV show recording later today. Then I have a happy hour after. Every thought process I have as I wake up every morning is how can I influence more people. My team, we created the 3 R's of what I need to be doing, and it's increasing my reputation. You can never stop doing that. Raising the profile and extending our reach. The more that we're doing that, the more that we have different things that can benefit. And for me personally, it allowed me to get out of the trench work of the mortgage business to where I'm now, for lack of better words, I think people can understand this, a rainmaker. It's, I'm able to do business development strategies, and it's within mortgage and some other things. I have different buckets that they can rein into, but it all starts with just a commitment to influence, and not one person at a time, but groups. Lunch and Learns, happy hours, great place to start for anybody on this call.
So a couple things, guys. So first of all, to learn more about Real Estate Radio Network, which Craig and Ron Quintero are the 2 founders, and myself and Craig Lex are also part of that vision, just go to RERN.com, click on videos, and just watch the video that Ron Quintero created walking through Real Estate Radio. You'll learn something just from watching that 10-minute video. And again, if you want to learn more about that, you can either email me, Dave at Mortgage Coach, or Ron at makeyourphonering.com. But go and watch the videos on Real Estate Radio. And again, there's no doubt if you want to build a brand in a local market, if you want to be able to call a realtor and say, hey, how would you like to be a guest on my radio show this Saturday, and know that you're going to get a return call, know that you're going to get a meeting, know that you're going to build brand value and credibility, this is a amazing strategy. So let's unpack your event on October 14th. And by the way, everybody on this call, I asked Craig beforehand. He's very cool. If you you follow him on Facebook, you come to his event. He's a very abundant thinking guy. He's not someone that's like, I'm not willing to share what I'm doing. So you can learn a lot just from following Craig on Facebook, going to his website. Something I always take away, Craig, which clearly separates you from most lenders that do events. They are always, your website, I think it's the best I've seen of any website for a lender that has promoted an event that I've seen. Whenever, you package, the way you package events is just superior. So one question I have, first of all, do you spend a lot on this stuff? Do you have a team? Do you hire contractors? Just because I think part of your magic is just what a great job you do of packaging events. So one, if you don't mind just sharing what you do, and then again, realize there's going to be people on this call that, whatever you do, they're not going to be able to budget that. Give us the blow it up big Craig Sewing, how you do it, and then give us some hack choices for folks that just don't have the budget or the resources.
Sure. Well, the easiest way to do that and to break it down to that level, Dave, is I'll start there. And by starting there, let's look at the first one I did versus this is the 4th or 5th. The first one I did was on an incredibly thin budget, and we brought in a speaker, and we made a little half-day event. We found a venue, and it cost a few grand, but I think we had 100 and something people there. But you got to keep in mind, we might be in a mortgage originator looking to do an event for your business, whether it's 100 people, 1,000 people, 2,000, or 10,000. You're not the only person in your marketplace that can gain from having a room full of people. And so one of the things that we work hard on is finding other people of the industry who can gain value of this event. We might carry the flag for it, but title companies, escrow, real estate, warranty, insurance, attorneys, estate planning, tax planning, financial advisors. These are all people in your marketplace that have to do something very similar to you, which is to gain relationships in the market. So it doesn't hurt to think about, well, if I'm going to do something like this, maybe I share the burden of it to a certain extent and create an alliance with someone else who could also benefit. That's maybe someone you have to speak on stage or you give a table and ultimately financially contribute. So it does not have to be this expensive thing, right? Now, if you look at where we're at right now, if you look at the speakers and the event and where we're putting on paper it looks pretty expensive. But you have to understand it's grown to that level. I'm a big believer in failing forward. If you would have talked to me after my first event, I would have told you it was a success. Now I look back on it, I'm embarrassed, right? If you would have said the same thing about my first radio show or my first TV show, now I look back on each and I'm embarrassed because we've advanced from there. So you got to be willing to get in there, get dirty, get knocked down, and pick yourself back up. So I've always really believed in failing forward. Now where we're at is things have grown, and it's snowballed to the point where our biggest group of RSVPs that we got is simply emailing the group from last year and saying, hey, we're doing it again. And all of a sudden we got a wave of RSVPs. So when you look at where we're at here and what's on the screen in front of you, our goal was to attract different types of personalities, right? So we have Tom Ferry, right? Now Tom Ferry is relatively inexpensive to hire as a speaker, and he's a guy that a lot of realtors are very attracted to. He's the #1 real estate coach. He's very motivational. He gives you the rah-rah, makes you feel excited leaving an event. In reality, some people don't like him, for one reason or another. I can't tell you why. I think he's great, but some people don't. So if you go to the bottom right part of the screen, we have Alan Nevin. Now, Alan Nevin is an economist. Alan Nevin is a guy who, if you're not looking for rah-rah, he's the guy who's going to tell you what's going to happen in the market in 2015. Bottom left is Ron Quintero. Ron Quintero isn't even going to charge a dime to speak at this thing because I've asked him as a friendly favor. So it's kind of like Bob Bodine, The Power of Who. Reach out to someone you know. Everybody on this call knows somebody who they could get to speak at an event that you could market around that would be relatively inexpensive. And then you look at the center featuring top producers on stage. Those 8 people that you see right there. Look, any of the 13,000 real estate licenses in San Diego, California should want to see what the most successful people in the market are doing. So you don't even need to go spend money on big name speakers. All of these people here are people that should want to be heard, and none of them charge anything because it's in their best interest to be featured on stage and have their profile raised to the rest of the marketplace. So they're very eager to do it. So that in itself is an event you could do that doesn't cost you a lot of money, that could attract a lot of people. And it allows you to build relationships with those top-tier people and also get a quantity group that is there to see them as well. Now, for us, everything you're going to see from the convention center to all these speakers to a lot of the things, the sound, the audio, it does get pretty expensive. But, everything goes to scale with your sponsors. That same financial advisor who might have spent $500 on your first event is going to spend $3,000 on this event. Why? Because that's that much more impactful for him. Same with that estate planner, that title company, that escrow, all the way down the list that I already gave you earlier. So over time, you can grow different sponsors that offset the investment. And look, if you can close a deal or two, having put on a successful event, it's probably going to pay for what the event costs you. So it is one of those things that you might have to take a little bit of a risk, but it's low risk, high reward. And I've always found them to be very successful, even going all the way back to the very first one I did, which in hindsight, again, was an embarrassment now. The reality is it set the stage for us to grow. And at the time, I was a producing mortgage originator. It was great for that. It raised my profile, helped me create relationships in the market. And, in that regard, it was very successful. You want to do something very simple? Set up a lunch and learn. It'll cost $300 and get 30 realtors there to see some speaker. You could do that every other week and be successful for very, very little cost.
All right, guys. So we've broken down, a mega event where Craig's going to have. You think you'll have 1,500 realtors there, or you think it'll be closer to 1,000?
I think this one will probably have anywhere from 1,500 to 1,800 that are physically there, on the assumption that we get 2,300, 2,400 RSVPs.
Got it. So, a very successful mega event with a celebrity real estate trainer, speaker, this particular one, Tom Ferry, and then a supporting cast of leaders are both our best buddy, Ron Quintero, founder of Real Estate Radio, along with some other folks, and then a bunch of local top producing realtors that are well-respected influencers and communicators. So just a great formula for success. So, by the way, I was going back and forth with Michael Maher, another celebrity real estate trainer, yesterday, and I asked him to impromptu jump on this call. I can see that Michael has jumped on the call. He looks like he's muted. Michael, are you on the call? And I don't know when you jumped in and how much you heard of the conversation so far.
I just caught the last piece of this, what sounds like a fantastic event, the Real Estate Mastery event. Just caught the tail end of it, but it sounds like a terrific opportunity, and I am on here to serve when you're ready.
All right, man. And by the way, can you see our screen? Can you see the screen, or are you just dialed in audio only?
I can see the screen. Absolutely. Looks great.
Okay. Okay, great. So Michael, beat Craig. And I don't know how much I think you guys know each other. Obviously, maybe you could be one of his leaders and speakers on one of his future events. So hopefully, just having you on the call will introduce you two at a whole new level. By the way, do you guys know each other?
We do not,
Michael. I don't think we've ever met in person.
Well,
can't wait.
You've now met in a group of hundreds of loan officers on the Mortgage Coach team. So
well, it's a perfect segue, Dave. As we're talking about putting on events and attracting people in your marketplace, when you're having me describe it, you just put a guy on the phone. You could center events around Michael. I don't know what his schedule is or what that would look like for him and you and logistically, but there's a great person to reach out to right there. Very influential in the real estate community, and maybe someone you can connect with and do the same thing in your market.
Yeah, well, and Michael does a lot of that. I mean, there's a lot of Mortgage Coach members that bring Michael in to do events very similar to this. Although, Michael and I both know there's not a lot of mortgage professionals or mortgage companies that can package an event the way that you do, Craig, promote an event the way you do, and actually get 1,500 people into an event like this. They'll probably make the same investment of time and money that you do. And I don't know, Michael, what is the average size of, when you go out and you have either a lender or a loan officer promote an event, what are the average sizes in terms of those events?
250 to 350. In your larger market centers, it's 250 to 350. So it's definitely not 1,500. That's an incredible turnout, and especially with Tom Ferry doing his event in August, and then being able to pull using his name at least part of those people is a significant accomplishment. That's fantastic.
By the way, have you ever even heard of this type of event as big as 1,500 people? I mean, I personally think it might be the biggest event of its type. Do you know of anyone who's done something bigger?
I don't.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to go ahead and call it out there. If anybody knows a mortgage professional that has put on a bigger event where they've got more realtors to come under one roof to do it, I mean, I want to know who it is, because I personally am going to make the statement that this is the biggest all-time event that any mortgage professional has got a room full of realtors in one place. And to your point, while Tom Ferry, has a tremendous pull, this is being done, and this is the success. It's bigger than that. Craig Sewing has an amazing formula for doing this. You just heard it from Michael himself. Typically these are 200 to 300 folks that you can show up. So Michael, I know, let's transition a little bit, and Craig, I want you to almost put on the co-host hat with me right now. So feel free to ask Michael any question or pile on anything that he shares. But Michael, you've been traveling the country, training realtors, being a leader to loan officers. I also know that you have a new product coming into the market. The Mortgage Coach community is going to be one of the first to hear about. I mean, it sounds like it's just launching as we speak. Why don't you, first of all, this event is centered around, hey, if you're a loan officer and you want to have an event, whether it's as small as a lunch and learn, or whether it's a mega event of a couple hundred people, and if you want to try to beat Craig, you want to go for 1,000 or more, we want to deliver value. So first of all, if you don't mind unpacking some best practices to do events, and then let's roll into what's going on in your world and any new products that you have.
Wow. Well, first of all, I have to say kudos to Dave Savage, right? And I know that the Mortgage Coach community doesn't need to hear you championed anymore because they love you and follow you. But I have to say, yesterday we had a conversation, and Dave Savage and I actually had a call scheduled today, And that call was going to be very valuable to him, and I can't wait until we have that call. But what did he do? He had an opportunity to help. He heard about the new 7L being launched, and he jumped all over it. He said, let's do it. Let's do it tomorrow, and let's get you on the call. So kudos to Dave Savage for having that generous heart and giving value at every chance he gets. So first of all, thank you for having me on.
No problem, man. It's an honor.
Yeah. Second of all, is one of the things that I love speaking about is orchestrated networking events, right? Events that are orchestrated. Let's not just throw an open house together. Let's not just throw an event together. I think Craig Sewing totally shows an example. Do you think that event's just thrown together? It doesn't matter if it's Tom Ferry or Tony Robbins or Michael Maher or whoever. Craig's going to have 1,000 people in that room because it's orchestrated. He's put it together. And I would love, I'll give you some tidbits now, but Dave, Sherry and I actually talked about this morning with the Referco team, is we're going to have a Power of One call webinar anyway. The Power of One is O&E is orchestrated networking events, and just for those of you that maybe aren't speakers or want to get in front of a crowd, just know that you don't need to. You can have others speak and still get all the benefits of what's going on. So I wanted to throw that out there. So one main thing with your event is you need to have thoughts on before, during, and after, right? What are you doing before the event? What are you doing for the event? And then one main key, one big thing at the end is you are for sure going to want to know what you're going to do afterwards, right? What you're going to do as a follow-up. So I guess the be a great one for Craig is, Craig, when did you start planning this event? Like, when do you start working on October 14th, 2014's event?
Say that again, Mike.
When did you start working on this event, the October 14th, 2014 event?
The October event. So I guess you would say that we really started taking it to market about a month ago. When did we start working on it? Less than a month prior to that. The event last year did really well. We had 1,000 people at it. This year our goal is 2,400 RSVPs, which that's where we're coming up with a number anywhere 1,500, 1,800. So we knew that we could have an immediate pop on attendees. So that's usually the more complicated part. Usually it takes more marketing time, but I think the event was so successful last year, it's made it a little bit easier. And so I don't know if that sounds to the audience like it's a lot of time or little, but the truth is we started about a month ago taking it to market, and there's about 2 weeks prior to that for prep time, website, flyers, talking to different speakers, things like that.
Yeah. So what is your purpose with this event? What do you personally want to get out of it, and then we'll branch it out. Like, why throw an event? Why throw this event?
Okay, great. Well, let's just talk selfishly speaking here. For me,
well, you can. That's why I asked. I mean, why is all about you, right? I mean, it's like why. I always ask them. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Michael.
I was just going to say, I always ask the audience, it's like, all right, so why are you in real estate, or why are you in mortgages? And I'll hear to help people, to serve, to, it's like, no, why are you're in business to profit. You're in business to make money. Otherwise, you should run a nonprofit. And I understand that some of you are running nonprofits, but let's figure out a way to make it a profit, right? So, I want to know your why. And if your why is to just be crazy famous and make a ton of money, then, hey, you know what? That's honesty, and that's what I'd rather have.
Sure. Well, it originally started with being a mortgage originator years ago, and I saw it as you can talk to people one person at a time, or you can try and influence a bunch at once and just make it a lot easier, right? So that's where it originally started years ago. But as it stands right now, this big event, the biggest personal gain for me is that in my TV show, in my radio show, it never hurts to continue to grow my reach. And this is very organic. I mean, there's not much money being put into this thing. There are some sponsors, but it really is a lot of word of mouth here in San Diego. So increasing my reach, expanding my presence in the marketplace, what it ultimately does is I have a lot of paying sponsors that are aligned with me, from financial advisors, estate planners, credit experts, title, escrow. I mean, anything on that financial wheel, it sponsors my radio show and my TV show. Well, what that means is they spend money on me. So my job for them is to deliver value. And we decided a long time ago as a team that a lot of times the people that are involved with us, just like anyone spending advertising dollars, you look at a return on investment. All right, I spent $2,000 as a bankruptcy attorney. How many bankruptcy leads did I get, and what was my return on investment? Well, we really tried to create a shift to the way of thinking on versus return on a investment, a return on a relationship. So we do the event because we want people to see their value in being aligned with us, not just how many times did my phone ring last month from sponsoring Craig and everything he does, but how many people did I meet as a result of the relationship. In this case, I'm going to be exposed to 1,500 people as a sponsor of this event. But we also do things where we introduce people one-on-one. So for me, it adds a lot of value to the people that pay into my model, which ultimately is where my profit center comes from.
Awesome. So bottom line is you did it to expand your reach and get in front of more realtors originally, and it's grown to be something else. And I think the biggest thing for those that are on this is that's why you need to. The first thing you need to think about is why would I throw an event? What is my outcome, and what do I want from it? You need to know what you want from it. And then you need to think about, like, so if that's my outcome, who do I want to attend this event? And in Craig's case, what's the percentage of realtors that are going to be in the audience? Is it 100% realtors?
It'll be, I would say, probably 80% realtors and then 20% mortgage, title, escrow, people of the marketplace, which for me personally is
okay.
Is
so in about 2%. Yeah. So you're gonna. Okay. So that's the same thing. You may not. I mean, Dave Savage did a great business having events for CPAs, right? So what's your target, and then what's of the most benefit to them? And then another thing with orchestrated networking events is knowing what is the. I look at any event that I create. I look at it as a black box, right? And the black box is the actual event. And then I draw an arrow into the black box. And that is, who do I want into the black box? And then I draw an arrow on the right side, which is, how do I want them to be different once they've come to this event? Like, what is the difference? And there needs to be one difference. Like in Craig's case, it's they're going to be a better realtor, specifically around real estate mastery, right? So they're gonna come out with 1, 2, or 3 ideas, and that's the same thing that you need to do. If it's a client appreciation event, this is a phenomenal time to be getting those on the board. If it's a CPA event, whatever it may be, you want to know what that outcome is. How do you want them transformed? And everything that you do inside the black box needs to line up to transform that person from them coming in and to them coming out. What is the transformation? How are they different? How are they more educated? How are they smarter? And then I have to tell you one last thing on orchestrated networking events is, first of all, you need to do events. The number one place I get referrals, I did an event last month, and with 72 people in the room, I got 84 referrals, right? So it's one of those, is with events, you're going to get referrals. And there's two reasons and 2 ways to do that. Number one is you're going to get referrals because people are going to interact with each other. Like Craig's doing this event, and what it is one agent knows Craig, the other agent knows Craig. Well, when they're in the same room and they're talking to each other, what was a couple of people who knew Craig now become champions and ambassadors for Craig. So getting them in the same room together has transformed them from just a knowledge level to a raving fan level. And the equation that I tell people is champion plus champion equals 2 ambassadors. So somebody that's willing to speak highly of you plus another person that's willing to speak highly of you, when they're next to each other and they have a chance to interact, what they're really doing is validating the referral of you. They're verifying to themselves that you are worthy of referrals because somebody else is championing you. They now have social proof of the ability to champion you. So what happens is you'll get a couple of people who kind of like you, and after they're done from an event, they'll love you, they'll champion you, they'll be ambassadors for you and your business. So you want to create excuses to get people together. One of the best excuses is a board of advisors or board of ambassadors, and I'll talk more on that either at a future mortgage coach call, or I for sure have it covered in the Power of One, the orchestrated networking event webinar that I'll be doing at the end of the month. By the way, the number one was champion plus champion equals 2 ambassadors. The other thing is you have to, please hear me here, you have to have a door prize entry form. On the door prize entry, not gathering cards, and this may be a big aha for a lot of you. You don't want to just gather cards, because quite honestly, what do you do with the cards? You know, you might say you're going to follow up, and you may even follow up a little bit, but most people don't, and they just end up with a box of cards. So what you want to do is you want to have a door prize entry form where they fill out their name, mobile, and email, and then you're going to have a couple of questions. One of those could be, if you had a friend or neighbor who was looking to get a home loan, who would you recommend they call first, right? So right off the bat, they could put on that sheet whether they have a friend or a relative or somebody, so that you know whether they are, they're a good fit or not. The last thing that you want to put on this door prize entry form is out of all the people you know, who would be most likely to want to do this, right? For example, if it's consumers, right? A consumer event like a housewarming party, which I know that I've become semi-famous for. It is a housewarming party. Is we always say, out of all the people you know, comma, who is the next person who will be buying, selling, or investing in real estate? And it's on the door prize entry form. I don't ask that directly, but then we leave 3 blanks at the bottom of that for the name and mobile of their friend, so they have the opportunity to refer us. And that's how we get, over 100% in referrals. So that is the secret weapon to orchestrated networking events, how to get referrals.
So guys, I want to jump in because Michael, I know you have a new offering. I want to make sure we get to that. And we've only got about 5 more minutes in the call, so let's make sure we do have a chance to get to your newest offering. I do know when I was listening to you give everybody, advice on, what to do, something that came to my mind, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the new Harvard Business Review came out, and it talked about the new basics of marketing, and it talked about think, feel, and do. So just to really hammer home that advice from Michael, if you're doing an event, whether it's a lunch and learn, what do you want people to think? What do you want them to feel? And what do you want them to do? So, Michael, with that said, let's transition into tell us what's new in your world. By the way, there's no doubt I need to schedule you an upcoming call. I mean, there's just so much that we need to catch up on, talk about, and so much value that you can share with the community. So let's make sure we get you scheduled as a host on a coaching call soon. But tell us about your new product.
Yeah, it's the new and updated 7L. So I'm excited about it. There's 12 new pages in 7L, and it essentially launches today. So if you go to bookonreferrals.com, it'll take you to the Amazon site. So this is the new and updated version of 7L. And not only that, but we are going to bonus the living heck out of those who invest in this product, right? So for those of you that go to Amazon and get and invest in bookonreferrals.com, first of all, why should you do that? I believe that there's a lot of reasons. One is you have to realize, if you're newer to 7L, is please realize that the star of this book, the love interest, the one all the guys are chasing, is a mortgage professional. The one who leads, and I'm hoping Craig Sewing's hearing this, right, is the one who leads the realtors through the educational process is a mortgage professional. So a lot of you are education buffs. You are teachers as well as mortgage professionals in how you go about your business. So just know that subliminally, when they read this book, they get it that they should follow you, that they should learn from you, that they should get more information from you. So just know this is the perfect tool for you. The second thing, I mean, how many books do you know out there where the star of the book is a mortgage professional? Does anybody know any other books? I mean, seriously, I'd love to know. And then secondly is realize that when you give 7L, you are actually creating the opportunity for 2 referral conversations with your referral partners. So when you give it to them, they're going to ask, what is this about? The answer is referrals, right? Referrals. It's about referral generation, which leads to a referral conversation with them, which hopefully leads to referrals. But you're giving them a phenomenal gift that they can open again and again, and so 2 weeks later, you're going to follow up, and hopefully they will have read the book, which is going to lead, and just so you know, it is a love story that even a guy could read. It's a very enjoyable read. Typically, realtors devour this book. It's the highest rated book on Amazon ever in the real estate category. We're 5-star rated with over 270 reviews, and so a lot of realtors have read it, and they continue to read it. And the beauty here is that you, as the person who gave it to them, after 2 weeks, can follow up with them, and it's going to lead to another referral conversation. So hopefully those are enough reasons. But we're also going to bonus the heck out of you. So if you invest in it, if you invest in one book, which is fine, you want to, no matter how many you invest in, send me the receipt, and I'm going to give you the email for the receipt. You want to send it to Hunt, H-U-N-T, at new7l.com. That's Hunt at new, N-E-W, the number 7, letter L, .com. And when you do that, if you do one book, you're going to get a free admission to the webinar. If you do 2, the I'm a Giver package, then you're going to get the webinar and a Spectrum of Solutions document that's going to help you maximize that one-on-one that you have when you give the book. If you buy 5 books, you're going to get all of the above, and I'm going to send you a copy of the audiobook so that you can review it in your car. And then if you're growing and leading and you're looking at 10 books, then you're going to get all of the above plus a book club guide. We were talking about having orchestrated networking events. One of the best you can do is a book club. And then also, if you're looking to do 20 books, then you're going to get all of the above plus the entire 7L System Action Guide, which is over 400 pages of the entire 7L system.
Hey,
so
Michael,
do me a favor. Yeah. Yep.
So I want to make sure I got the email right. It's Hunt, H-U-N-T, at 7, spell out the word level.com.
No, it's Hunt at, great question, Hunt at new, N-E-W, 7L, so the number 7, letter L, Hunt at news.
Got it.
And we're giving all these bonuses away, plus everybody's entered in a drawing to, get thousands of dollars of prizes. This whole thing is being done by Barnes & Noble, and I apologize for going on here. So I didn't realize it was so involved, and I apologize for going long.
Oh, no, it's all good. I brought you on because I wanted to promote this. I believe in your book. I love your book, and I think it creates value every time someone buys it and shares it. So this was all for a purpose. So, Michael, one, let's get you on the calendar to pick up a whole call. As we wrap up today's call, I want you to take every experience that you're driving. This is an open house experience, and blow it up with something awesome. Obviously, the Mortgage Coach app. If you're doing a real estate lunch and learn, make sure that you get Michael's book. Make sure that you, instead of just having handouts, you're teaching realtors how to drive modern experiences. Let's face it, home buyers are figuring this out on their own. They're entertaining themselves with Instagram, with Facebook, and yes, home shopping is entertainment. When you watch reality TV and you look at the success of Zillow, Trulia, and all the MLS and their back pocket apps, shopping for home is modern entertainment. Mortgage professionals, are you following? Or are you just completely not even aware of it? Or are you a leader? If you're a mortgage coach call, you're a leader. We've got one of the industry's best trainers on today's call. I think I'm going to make the bold statement that we have the biggest realtor event put on by a loan officer. We have the host of that on today's call. Every Tuesday, we're giving you ideas and strategies. Every Thursdays, we're drilling down in the details of how to execute. So we're going to focus on how to do a rent versus own this Tuesday, among other things. And if you're new, come on Fridays. If you were at Sales Mastery right now, come see me, shake my hand, give me a hug. I care about every Mortgage Coach member, and I appreciate your business, and I'm looking forward to seeing you personally. Also, remember, you can watch the recording of these calls on your mobile device. So this call is being recorded. It'll be posted on our YouTube page. And, here's Sean Herrero, a great leader with RPM, a great brand that we just rolled out, Mortgage Coach, to power their mortgage experience, and Sean's watching it on his iPhone. So make sure you're checking it out, guys. Again, remember to watch this coaching call that I did a couple weeks ago by Carmine Gallo, the author of Talk Like Ted. It was crazy good. I am going to wrap this call. Craig, since you were the big guest today, any parting words or thoughts as we wrap up today's call?
Well, thanks for calling me the big guest next to Michael Maher. The big takeaway I had was the fact the book. If I was a mortgage originator, I'd get the book just to hand it out to people to strike up a conversation or referrals. That was so brilliant, yet so simple. As far as I go, thanks, Dave, for the call. If anybody wants to come to the event, their seat is comp. They just need to go to our website, realestatemasteryevent.com. If they put EDGE in the referred by, we'll let them in for free, and we'll save them a seat. So realestatemasteryevent.com. We'd love to have you. Let's take time chat. And it doesn't matter if you're a mortgage guy. We'd love to have you there, and feel free to network with all the realtors and have a great time. So thanks, Dave. I really appreciate you having me on here.
Good. Well, I look forward to being at the meeting myself, or not the meeting, the big event. I want to check it out for myself, so I will be there. I have put a link to the event in the comment section of the Facebook page. And as Craig said, go check out realestatemasteryevent.com, buy Michael Maher's book, and my goodness, start driving mobile experiences every time you're out at open houses. Guys, have a great week. Take care, everybody. Michael, thanks for jumping on this so impromptu and bringing value, bringing love, and sharing your vision, man. Appreciate you, brother.
My pleasure. Appreciate you, too. I'll see you at Salesmaster, brother. See ya. Thanks, Craig. Let's hook up offline if you don't mind, Craig.